Hello, welcome back, everyone. We are talking about financial empowerment centers here in Davidson County. We have with us John Murphy, the director of the Financial Empowerment Center in Nashville. As we went to break, I want to talk about the age of the people that come through. How old are they? You know, you said you're seeing young and old and their level of literacy, but what are the ages you're seeing coming through there?
So our average age is 42 years old. And we typically see and so it depends on which location we're looking at, to be honest with you. At the Foster Street location, it tends to be a little bit older, middle-aged. And when we are looking at the data on Casa Safran and in Southeast Metro, or the Southeast Library location, tends to be a little bit younger. So we have, it really does hit that median age, or the average age of 42.
42. Do you see a lot of young people coming in? We have so many young people moving to this city now. Are they smart enough to seek out this kind of advice? Are they smart enough to come to you when they are given an opportunity to rent somewhere for like $2,000 a month, which is probably ridiculous, and they have a salary that like, are they smart enough to come to you? Are you seeing that? Do you go up to people and go, don't do that?
So right now there's so much more demand than we actually have the capacity for. We have an extremely high demand, and what we typically see are when it's a younger individual, they typically have kids. It's typically single family, and they realize that they want to provide a sound and stable, financial situation for their family. In terms of and going to the point about younger folks that are moving into town, and I think that's actually one of the reasons why it's incredibly important that the FEC is used and sustained. Is we are seeing a younger population move to Nashville, much younger, an increased millennial generation, and that doesn't show any signs of slowing down. At the same time, there was a study that was released by PricewaterhouseCoopers that analyzed the financial capability of the millennial generation, which showed about 24% of the millennial generation could answer those 5 basic financial questions. So we're seeing when we take these two statistics in congruently, as our generation starts getting younger, they're also getting less and less financial capability as a result of them being younger, not having access to the appropriate education. And when we talk about education, soft skills and hard skills, a lot of that soft skill, which is taught in the classroom, which is understanding how 2 and 2 make 4, understanding how to divide, understanding how we take 2 numbers, multiply, all those soft skills, how we apply it in a real world situation, that hard skill is often not reinforced. So when the millennial consumer gets to the marketplace, they don't know how to apply what they've learned often in a classroom to a hard skill like managing a checkbook or creating a budget or creating a spending plan. Or now more and more millennials and recent college graduates are saddled with incredible amounts of student debt, soaringly so, and don't know how to really financially manage their debt, their income, their debt-to-income ratio, and what that means for them being able to afford the appropriate housing that they should be in.
Let's go to Monique. Hello, Monique.
Hi.
Hi, go right ahead.
The question they just asked my first question with the, I was wondering if you had
I really can't hear you. Can you?
In the early 20s.
Okay, say that again.
Someone in their early 20s.
Okay, good.
Preparing to move out, no debt, like something like a prep class. And then my second question is, when you are working with someone more older, trying to get themselves together, how long do they work with the individual to get them where they need to be?
All right, that's a good
And
question.
that's all the question I have. Thank you.
Great. All right. What about those?
Yeah.
Thank you, Monique.
So Monique, generally we see an average of 3 sessions with a counselor to achieve what we call outcomes, whether that's decreasing someone's debt, increasing someone's savings, or improving their credit score. So on average, it takes about 3 sessions. I think that was the bulk of the question.
It takes about 3 sessions. And then is there something, I think she said, something specific for, say, a 20-year-old? I guess we're talking about these millennials again.
Right.
A 20-year-old who has questions about
Yeah.
these issues.
So we don't have a specific or currently a specific curriculum that's tied to a demographic. I would encourage Monique to go to the Financial Empowerment Center, or schedule an appointment and see a counselor.
And it's not just one time. Then she would probably go 3 times.
Right, and that's the average we see. That's typically what it takes to achieve outcomes. Some are quick, some are quicker than others, but on average, it's about 3 sessions. Mostly, and it all depends. I mean, it's case specific. It's personal again. How much an individual is in debt, how much savings they already currently have, what their credit score is. To figure out what those issues are, what are the barriers, and how we go about reducing those.
Somebody that comes in, they're in big debt. You said there was $100,000. Somebody came in $100,000 in debt. Mm-hmm. They must have had money coming in because you said in some period of time they got that knocked down.
Yeah.
How dramatic a change might one expect when they come to you? Are you going to say you got to move, you got to go to a less expensive place, you got to sell your car, you got to whatever? How much of a change are you going to say let's do here?
Yeah. For instance, it all depends on the type of debt. Often, if it's medical debt, some can be forgiven. If it's a debt that can't be forgiven, to create a spending plan that reduces someone's liabilities or puts them on a process of having the appropriate type of loan to cover the debt. It's all kind of case specific.
And there could be things that people, I bet that's true. They don't know that there's maybe a way to not whittle down, but to ask a hospital to forgive some debt, or to ask a credit card to kind of reconstitute a debt, so
Right.
that you're able to kind of get out from under some of it.
Right. No, that's what we see most often than not. Like, for instance, the client that we were talking about earlier that had $100,000 worth of debt, he had no idea that you could debt negotiate. He had no idea that you could consolidate debt. He didn't know that you could, challenge a debt. Didn't really know the relationship that debt had to credit. It really does depend on the individual, but this is about empowerment. This is about empowering people, and more so, it's about creating hope and delivering hope. That when an individual comes through the program, they're achieving outcomes, they are getting onto a spending plan, or they're reducing debt, they have hope that door of economic opportunity has now opened, and they're making their way towards economic stability.
College debt, how big a deal is that?
Huge. It's
Not
huge.
bad.
College debt, I think this was a year or so, maybe 2 years ago now, has now surpassed every other form of debt except for mortgages. As an aggregate. So we're spending a lot more on college, and going to the housing point, what that does is the reliabilities that we now have for debt may be drawing down some of that economic pressure on the housing market. So, if an individual is $100,000 in student loan debt, and out of school, if the job market is shrinking or tightening, then they are only going to be able to find maybe a job making $60,000 or $65,000. That's not including a car debt or a car loan, credit card loans. So it's a huge issue. again, more so for the millennial generation, and that's even more reason to have access to a program that educates our constituencies about how to manage debt. Often, different loan officers are going to evaluate different types of debt differently. A college debt or education debt is typically seen as not as a toxic debt as credit card debt or consumer debt. Getting into a car loan that is way over the amount of a month to month that you should be able to make, and that goes to our cost debt ratio, and that's how most often a loan officer is going to see if you're able to afford the type of mortgage that you can, and college debt goes right into that calculation.
All right, we have to take a break. I want to come back and ask about kind of the future. What do you see going forward? If a quarter of millennials are financially literate, and then we have all this debt from college loans, what prognosis is that? All right, so we'll take a break. We'll be back right after this.